We're here with Jason Gordon from AmeriFirst. Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
Um, it's no secret that it's really difficult for buyers out there right now.
Okay.
And especially if you're looking to sell your home and you want to get into another one quickly with the inventory the way it is. I understand you guys have an unbelievable program called Cash is King.
That is correct, yes. And it's a perfect layout, too. So, say someone's selling their current property, we'll call that property A,
Okay.
and trying to buy property B. We all know in this market, selling A is not really that much of a challenge. But buying B, getting that seller on B to accept your offer contingent on selling A, you're kind of bringing too much baggage to the table. And when these sellers on B have other choices, they're choosing the non-contingent offers. And so what we have here is what we call buyer fatigue. These folks at some point just keep getting turned down on these B properties, and they finally just decide not to buy B, not to sell A. And now we have ourselves with a consumer that's stuck and a lender and a real estate agent who did all this work and had nothing to show for it. So we found a way to kind of unclog the system here by doing what we call cash is king. So we go through a very strict approval process. It's actually an underwriter approval. For those eligible, we will make an offer on property B on the client's behalf. The name of the buyer in this case is AmeriFirst Financial or assignee. We want our client to be the assignee. So let's say we lock down property B. One of two things is going to happen. Say you're a real estate agent trying to help our mutual client. We've locked down property B as a cash buyer. Now, one of two things happens. Number one, you can negotiate a long enough escrow period on B to enable you to sell A first. That's the ideal way. At that point, we were just going to activate the assignee clause, and our client becomes the buyer on B, and we just helped our client get unstuck, get their offer accepted for no additional fees. We're all kind of high-fiving at that point. We did it, right? We were very creative and we got this done. But the other option or other scenario that could happen here is that we lock down property B and that seller wants a 10-day escrow. Well, we're not going to get A sold in 10 days most likely. So at that point, we have to buy the property on their behalf. In that case, we do have some charges for that because we're actually wiring the entire purchase price and buying this as a cash buyer. So we are charging our clients some fees for that, which I can always go over in more detail whenever desired. But this whole system is allowing buyers from all across the country, especially here in Southern California, to get unstuck, get their offers accepted, and actually win a new home in this very competitive environment.
So, are there ever instances? I mean, we all know that homes are flying off the shelf. And if you ran into a scenario where, for whatever reason, property A wasn't moving, maybe it was an unrealistic asking price. I mean, even though people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking right now, what is your contingency if you run into a situation where property A doesn't sell?
Well, we can actually buy A as well. However, in this market, we're not seeing that happen. And we are doing some due diligence for that approval. Remember, I mentioned we have to get them very thoroughly approved.
So you're making sure the property A is priced properly before you're going to.
Yes,
Great.
this is all part of the process.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense now.
And we're also, when we're buying B, we're doing a kind of a soft appraisal to figure out if the client's going to overpay above value, then they're bringing in the difference.
Got it.
And that comes in the form of their earnest money deposit being that much higher, which is very consistent with lending guidelines anyway, right?
Right. So you just need to make sure that they are going to be realistic. You know, if I've got property A and I want to try to price it $300,000 over what the market is, you're going to say, you know, we're not going to be able to do that deal. So you've got
Correct.
to, you literally have to analyze both sides of the transaction.
Yeah, our due diligence is definitely high on that on both
Okay.
ends. And
Makes
what's
sense.
nice about this too is let's just take that same scenario, but pretend this person's a first-time home buyer. They don't have a property A. Say they're putting down 3 or 5%, and in the eyes of all these sellers who have multiple offers, they're just turning down our client because they don't have enough skin in the game. Well, we know as a lender, we've got them approved. They are ready to go, but there's a perception on the selling side that, hey, there's 10 different offers. The ones that are putting less than 20% down, we're just going to go ahead and not even look at them. Well, what about those folks? A lot of first-time home buyers in the market. What about a VA buyer who's putting 0 down? We're helping them lock down those properties as a cash buyer, and there's no property A to sell. So we lock down that property. We immediately activate the assignee clause. We help our clients get those homes.
So is this just something that is, I mean, obviously you've got your own underwriting guidelines for this type of product. But you mentioned first-time home buyers. What if somebody wants to buy a second property and be able to? Do you have a program, for example, if I own a property but I want to buy a second property, is there a way that I could qualify for a program like that as well? So I could go in with a strong cash offer.
Yes, in fact, the Cash is King program is not solely for owner occupied. We'll do second homes and investment properties.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well,
And it's really just, we're kind of flexing our financial muscle on behalf of our client who wants to know that this is not going to fall out of escrow for some financing contingency 2 weeks from now.
what you're really doing is you're leveling the playing field for a lot of people that don't think that they would have an opportunity to compete in this market.
Yeah. And there's a lot of investment money. There's a lot of money overseas. A lot of these iBuyer platforms are out there just being a bully in the buying market and preventing folks that are working in our local societies from being able to purchase a home. So we're fighting back.
Jason's out there flexing his muscles.
We are flexing. It's not me, but AmeriFirst is flexing their financial muscle. Let me tell you.
You know, that's an unbelievable program, something I wasn't aware of, and I'm glad we had an opportunity here to discuss that, because I'm sure there are a lot of other people that could really serve their clients out there by working with a program like that.
I appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Jason, we look forward to having you back on the show.
I appreciate that.